Have you ever noticed that you're at your best when everything's on the line? See, most people avoid pressure, but in Blue Lock, it's what fuels some players to greatness, especially those with the world restriction ego type. So, in this video, I'm going to show you how guys like Kaiser and Aiku use clear goals and external pressure to push past their limits. Plus, I'll show you how you can harness that same mindset to dominate your own challenges. Now, most people crumble under pressure, but what if I told you that very same pressure could be the exact thing that forces you to evolve? Enter Kaiser, a character who thrives precisely because he's unafraid to reinvent himself even under impossible circumstances. See, growing up, Kaiser faced a pretty brutal childhood. Abandoned by his mother and abused by an alcoholic father, Kaiser had his freedom stripped away pretty much from day one, and seen only as a tool, he was forced into crime to serve his father's own selfish interests. But despite his terrible circumstances, Kaiser's ego wasn't quite dead yet. So, as an act of rebellion, Kaiser sold the most valuable items he stole and honestly just kept the money himself. And the most fascinating thing is that amidst this darkness is where he discovered soccer, a sport that finally made him feel something. It allowed him to feel alive. Now, fast forward to the NEL, and this mindset is stronger than ever. Soccer gave him freedom, but freedom alone wasn't enough for Kaiser to thrive. His rivalry with Isagi forced him to confront a pretty hard truth. He had become too comfortable protecting past achievements. And in order to reach true greatness, he realized he had to risk losing everything to embrace the pressure, return to zero, and climb back to the top. And when it became clear that involving his Blue Lock teammates and his strategies offered the best chance of victory, Kaiser didn't stubbornly cling to his original plans out of pride. Instead, he adapted, understanding that real strength comes from leveraging every resource that's available. So, what can we learn from how Kaiser represents this ego type? Kaiser's journey as a world and restriction type egoist teaches us that embracing challenges and adapting to restrictive environments can transform even the worst adversity into strength. So, I want you to stay flexible and be open to change. Use some of your personal challenges as a constant reminder to evolve and stay aligned with your goals, no matter what's happening. Remember, the goal isn't to avoid pressure, it's to leverage that pressure to become someone you can never be in comfort. So now that you've learned to adapt like Kaiser, let's push even further by defying the limitations that others try to impose on you. Now, sometimes the weight of others' expectations can feel impossible to bear. You might think that your only option is to surrender to these expectations just to survive and get on with your life. And this is the very thing that Aiku had to go through early on in his soccer career. Now, from the beginning, everyone labeled Aiku a prodigy blessed with a pretty good physique, treating him like a hidden gem that they had just discovered. However, despite his personal dream of becoming the world's best striker, the adults around him insisted he play a supporting role for the team, kind of like Isagi was before Blue Lock. Coaches and authority figures decided his fate for him, limiting his dreams and stifling his ego. Eventually, soccer lost its joy entirely for Aiku. But there came a moment when enough was enough. In a bold act of rebellion, an effort to reclaim his identity, Aiku transformed himself from an aspiring striker into a top defender. Not because he had failed, but because he chose to defy those who tried to box him in. Faced with external pressures and internal frustrations, he channeled those negative experiences into motivation, turning his imposed restrictions into his greatest strength. So, what can we learn from how Aiku represents this ego type? See, Aiku's journey teaches us that purpose can emerge when we challenge these imposed boundaries and use them as fuel for us to excel even further. By channeling his determination to crush the boring striker mold others forced upon him, he transformed his external constraints into a powerful motivation for his own personal growth. I want you to remember this clearly. Structure isn't a limitation, it's the framework that empowers you to perform at levels you previously thought were impossible. It just takes the right mindset in order to be able to see those opportunities. But here's the thing. just knowing this ego type isn't enough. If you can't pinpoint exactly which ego type matches your natural wiring and how to build an environment around it, you'll stay stuck in a frustrating loop of wasted effort, missed opportunities, and untapped potential. So watch this next video where I break down all 4 ego types and help you discover exactly which one matches your natural wiring so you can finally start working with your brain instead of against it.